Okay, 7:30. Here we go. We're going to rock. So again, please type your name. There's Sally. She's got her pen and paper ready. Yes, there you are. Hey, Sally. Great to see you, dear. All the way you're from, oh my gosh, the capital of Poland. What is it? I'm trying to remember. My mind's going blank. Great to see you, honey. Great to see you. Glad that you're here. Hope that Sharif is doing well. Anyway, so welcome, everyone to the Achievement Workshop, the first online version. I've been doing these for a lot of years, and they've always been done live, like in person live at some location somewhere. And so this is the first one that I've ever done online. I'm excited about it. My name is Dominic. I am the host of the Self-Achievement Network, and I'm also the creator of all the material that I will share with you in this workshop. I know we're all busy people. I've been extremely busy. I'm caregiving to my mother right now, who is physically not doing well, and also some sad news that my darling wife's father just passed away 2 days ago. So we're dealing with all that. Diane can't be here. She's with her family, and the show must go on. So I thank you all for being here. It really, truly is a privilege to be doing this. And, you know, as they say, you know, oh, I'm living the dream. How you doing? I'm living the dream. Well, this is my dream. I've been working on this my entire life. Well, for the last 3 years in this particular form. And yeah, 3 years. It's taken me quite a long time to piece a lot of this together. And I've gone in a lot of different directions, and I'm finally focused, and I'm really, really excited for all of us, and also to share some really good information with you, and the information that I've learned that has helped me for many years to create more of the ideal things that I want to experience and have in my life. Not the superficial things, the real serious, like really solid things that I've always wanted to have. And I've used this particular methodology, and it has always worked for me. I've got some important information first to explain before we get into the meat of the workshop. So please hang in there with me for a few minutes. It's really necessary, and it's really important that you understand so that you know how this whole thing works and why. I have a little agenda. The agenda is very simple. I am going to talk for a few minutes about this inner voice that we've got going on in here, that damn voice that drives us a little crazy and takes us all these different directions. And we're going to look at what's really holding you back. And you may say, well, there's a lot of things holding me back. Well, really, it's not that hard. It's really kind of simple. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to discuss the difference between a goal and an agreement. Very important for you to understand that. And also how to create a goal. Now you say, oh, I know how to create a goal. I've created a goal a million times. Well, the book that I wrote called Life Plan 1.0 is the methodology that I've been using. And I'm going to go through that step by step so that you can see it and you can understand it. And you can do it on your own. So by the time we're done, you should be able just to pick it up and use it. It's really cool. So I was able to create a lot more things in my life after I established an understanding of who I was and who I wanted to be. And I got to define myself and use that as a launching pad for everything that I did after that. Now, I was involved in a personal development organization for many years, and I was able to do that to define myself so that I had a baseline for where to move, the direction to move my life in. And before that time, I was going in like shotgun in millions of different directions, and I had no focus. So it wasn't until that time until I started to really get focused. Now, sometimes those ideal things were about money. Sometimes it was about relationships and family. Sometimes it was about traveling to some place that I wanted to go, that I dreamed about seeing and experiencing. Nowadays, it's more about my health and the quality of my life and what do I want to accomplish, before I get too damn old, and also, what I want to do to support others. And I've never wanted to be a public figure. I never wanted to be rich. I never wanted to be in politics, all that stuff. I wanted to have a rich life. And now I have a purpose. And my purpose is to improve the world for all of us. And doing it in a way that I can travel and do the things that I want to do, see the places I want to see, and doing it all the while making money. And I'm getting there. I'm on the road right now. That's what this is all about. And I think, we all have similar dreams and goals. And the ultimate challenge really is to make all them come true, all those dreams to come true before it's too late. And some of you may have already experienced that it's too late for some things. We get it up in, a few years, and you know how it is. It's always just too late, whatever. You may have a physical problem that is holding you back. But there's always things that you can do different. So this methodology that I'm talking about, it's always been about me achieving it and not someone else. We've all got to achieve our own results. And that's why I call this the self-achievement system. And, when I was working with my mentor before that, I didn't have a system. I didn't have anything to follow. I did have a mentor who pushed me like a taskmaster for over 20 years to achieve the things that I said that I wanted to achieve. And there was no workbook or no internet and, all that stuff. And there was no apps. So it was like pencil and paper. That's how I had to do it. So now with the assistance of technology, I've worked to build the system and to give more and more people the opportunity to create a truly amazing life if that's what they want to do. And one that has the least regrets possible. Now, I know there's like millions of different things out there in the world, applications and, achievement programs. This is, one small version of that. And they all come with the price. So the thing is, you have to be willing to do the work. That's the important part. You have to be willing to build yourself from the ground up. And you only have to be willing to look at yourself objectively and to make corrections. And that's it. It's really about one word. It's about your willingness to follow through. And I'm going to be talking about that a lot. Willingness to follow through. It's super, super important. Many people struggle, with a crappy boss. So with my experiences of dealing with some shitty managers in my time, I wrote a book called Manager Hacker, how to deal with shitty bosses and still get ahead. Many people have challenging coworkers. So I wrote a book called Coworker Hacker. Same concepts, but a little different approach. I've got other books in the works. Some people struggle with relationships. So I'm now writing a book about how to create a whole, complete, harmonious relationship with yourself so that you have a place to come from, something to stand on solid so that you can move into your life with an understanding of yourself that's not like antagonistic. So, for example, if you have a conflicting relationship with yourself, you're going to create conflicting relationships with other people and you won't even know it. You wonder, why I argue with these people? Why am I having so many difficulties? It's because you have a conflicting relationship with yourself. That's really what it boils down to. Anyway, I've got other books carved out that I will be releasing as soon as they're ready. My mission is to create a legacy, to help as many people that are searching for something to help them along in life. And I'm not out to save the world, or I'm not out to change the world. I only want to help those people who want to help themselves and get some guidance. I got guidance. My thing is about paying it forward. So that's really what I want to do now. If someone isn't willing to help themselves, you know how it is. It's impossible to help them. Now, this workshop is the first step in you getting to a new level. Even if it's just one small step in the direction that you want to go, it may be that you just want to improve your health by changing one small little habit, or it may be something more long-term, like finding a new career or moving to a different state or a different country, like you have, Sally. I know that you've done that. People do it all the time. Some of you want more out of life, but for whatever reason, circumstance you've created, you haven't gotten there yet. If you can achieve some of those things that take a little more effort, then it's worth it that you're here attending this workshop. Or you may watch the replay. This is being recorded, and so you will also have the opportunity to watch it again or share it with your friends. It's the first, like I said before, the first online achievement workshop that I've done. If it sounds a little kludgy or I have to backtrack a little bit, I don't really think that's going to happen. But if it is, it's because this is the first time that I'm doing it. I have practiced a little bit, but you never know. I have done them in the past and for live audiences, but again, this is the first time. So the Achievement Workshop is the first step in the self-achievement system. And it includes everything that I've used that's helped me to achieve my results, except for the one-on-one group coaching that I got, from my mentor. That's a little bit difficult to do here. I can give you the information, the methodologies, but there's the one-on-one coaching kind of stuff is a little bit more difficult. That's why we have this thing that's called the Self-Achievement Network. So we can utilize that environment and we can do some one-on-one coaching there. So, like I said, there's a lot of goal programs out there to choose from. And if you've got the money for some of those, I say go for it. But I say but for a good reason. And the reason I say but, it's because of that damn inner voice right there, that damn inner voice. We all carry it around. And if you don't have the personal willpower to follow through, I don't care if you spend $1 million on a program or you start from scratch and do it yourself for $0. If you don't have the personal willpower to follow through, that means to trust yourself and your word enough to continue with the program, you might as well save the money or give it to somebody who needs it. So listen, if you want to achieve more of the results in your life that you really, really, really want, there's going to be times when you're going to be like, fuck this. This is too hard. I quit. Sorry, bad planning. I didn't expect this to happen. And you know how that damn inner voice is? It's relentless. When it comes to looking for ways to get out of doing something, right? You know how that is, right? You take on a project and it gets a little bit hairy and you think, I think I'll come back to this later. And then later turns into months. And then you're back to where you started, which is absolutely nowhere with a dream. And you're like, okay, maybe I'll do that again some other time, but maybe I'll just change my dream. It's crazy. And you know yourself. You've fallen off the wagon before, and you've seen other people fall off the wagon, and no one can help you get back up. Other people, they can encourage you. And if you're weak, when the going gets tough, what do the weak people do? They usually go shopping for something that isn't going to ever make them happy. They quit. So that's what is so important about the monthly personal growth challenge in this Facebook group. It's the pinned post that's there, and it's the first thing, the first challenge to get you to look at changing something, changing a routine. And when you're in a routine, it's hard not to do it. It's harder not to do it than it is to do it. So you get into a different routine, and then one day you wake up and, oh no, I have to do my new routine. So it's designed to challenge you to practice doing something every day, to get into a new routine, to help make you strong. Really, that's what it's about. It's designed to help you build your ability to hang in there when the going gets tough. And as you may have observed, most of the people who take on the challenge in this group, they start strong and they finish weak. Why is that? Well, because they don't know that it's the secret to the system. They don't know that. They don't know that what I'm attempting to do, like my mentor attempted to do, is to make me stronger, to help me to build my willingness to follow through. So if you go to the pinned post and you read the instructions, you'll see the agreements, they're non-negotiable. That's how they're written. They're designed to be, do it no matter what. I don't care if it rains or it snows or you're coughing or, whatever. But you work to do it no matter what. Now, most people that I've seen, they treat it as, well, if I feel like it, I'll do it. Or if I have the time, then. Right? It comes secondary. They don't make it the most important thing. And that's the one of the key ingredients here, is that if you make your agreements the most important thing, what you're really doing is you're making yourself the most important thing. And how about it's time that you start to make yourself the most important thing? And I'm not saying that you're not doing that. That's not my point. We all have to survive. We've got things to do. And, right, anyone can have a dream. Anyone can have a goal, but very few people actually execute on them. So, if you're in that frame of mind that, I'll do it if, that's what's killing your dream. You see, it's about your commitment to yourself, to you making yourself strong so that you can, it's like there's a whirlwind of stuff going on during the day, but you have to do that little bit extra, that one or two things, those one or two agreements that you agreed to move things along. So, let's look at this thing, what's really holding you back. Very, very important. So to answer the question, what's really holding you back? The answer is, again, I've said it, your willingness to follow through on your word. The monthly challenge is designed to help you become completely independent, like not dependent on other people to cheer you on, and to experientially learn to rely on yourself. It's not an intellectual exercise. You can't think your way to keeping an agreement. You have to do an agreement. That's what makes it experiential. So it's designed to get you into a routine that works for you and your life. Okay, that's what I learned from my teacher. What I didn't know in the beginning was that he was wanting to make me stronger, because he knew that I wasn't. I didn't know that. I was just like, I was the tail wagger. And he knew that he could only push me and inspire me by doing his own life and showing me the way to walk the talk. And that's my goal. That's my challenge. That's my nemesis, is to do it so that other people can see. That's why I post in there every single day, no matter what. I make that the most important thing, doing my agreements and making my posts. He knew that I was the one who had to figure it all out, just like I know and you know that you are the one that needs to figure it all out. And with his guidance, I was able to do that, right? I did, because I was willing to follow the instructions. And it wasn't always easy. And there were times when I wanted to look into his eyes and say, you know what? Screw this. I'm not doing it. I can't. It's too much. I have too many things on my plate. So before I had a mentor, I was always strong, but I finished weak. That's the way that it works. I would tell myself I was going to start doing something, and then, somewhere down the line, I'd stop doing it. I didn't have the willpower. I didn't know that doing it every day was going to make me strong. I didn't have a way to hold myself accountable. I didn't have people around me to keep me in check. That's why I created this Facebook group, the Self-Achievement System, to create an environment for you and I and everyone to work in. So with that, all right, let's move forward and let's talk about, for a second, let's talk about me. Who is Dominic, right? Who is this guy, Dominic? I'm a regular guy, just like everybody else is. A regular gal, a regular guy. Some of you know me. Some of you know me well. A lot of you don't know me that well. And I can tell you my story in about 3 seconds. And here it goes. Ready? Once upon a time, I was a victim. Then I woke up and I turned my life around. Right? That's what happened. I was a victim to circumstances, to everything. So I'll just go through it. I'm 59 years old. I'm not a young chick no more. Chickadee. I'm not a young person anymore. I'm like on the verge of getting old, and I'm on a mission. I'm married to this woman, wonderful woman. Her name is Diane. I've been with her for 25 years. We have no children together. We don't have any pets together. I have 4 children, 2 boys, 2 girls, all grown up, all happy. I have 3 grandchildren. I have 1 step granddaughter, 2 grandsons, one granddaughter and a step granddaughter. I have traveled extensively around the world. I've got pictures to show it. I live south of Chicago in a state called Indiana. Some people call it the state of confusion. I live close to my mom, like I said, who is physically challenged right now. I'm caring for her. I have an awesome home. I bought it back in '92. I've completely remodeled it. I own it. It allows me to travel and do the things that I need to do without having, to make big payments on the house. I do and have done corporate management and performance training for many, many years. I do one-on-one coaching now for people. I used to do the Achievement Seminar live in the live format here in Chicago and in Cairo, Egypt. And now I do this. I'm doing online webinars and workshops. So this is my new career. In my mid-20s, I graduated from high school. I was super proud that I made it through high school. I also was super proud that I had received the honorable discharge from the United States Navy. During that time, I traveled to 14, 15, 16 different countries. And on top of that, I got an amazing education while I was in there, all by the time I was 21. Now, that doesn't make me a hero, but I thought it was a pretty damn good start. And I was proud of myself. After that, I went to the university. My father had just sold his metal fabrication business, and we together decided to buy a really cool delicatessen from this Polish family. And then, since we're Italian, we slowly converted the deli into an Italian deli. And I went to the university and I worked, and the university was right across the street. So everything was really kind of perfect. Now, on the outside, everything looked great. But on the inside, the truth was I was confused. I was getting more rebellious every day. I thought I had the world by the ass. Nobody could tell me what to do, especially my wife at that time. And on the outside, I appeared like a focused college student. But in reality, the truth is, after about 3 or 4 years out of the military, I became that guy that used every excuse for not being on time, for not getting my homework done, for not showing up to family events, for not helping my friends when I said that I would. For not exercising, for not helping out at home with my son, for coming home late and drunk, and, all this stuff. And even though I was married, I was hanging out with ladies, and I was a mischief and all that stuff. And I was arguing with my parents, my friends, my wife, my brothers, my sister, people in traffic. Oh my God, I was such an asshole. I thought I was like the king of the mountain. And at that time, I was really just a jerk. Okay. And I lost it. I mean, when I was in the military, I was doing very well, and then I lost it. So we all know people like that. We may have been that kind of a person in the past, or some people may be that kind of a person right now, and they're trying to get out. So I had all the excuses for everything except for what made me happy. And what made me happy at that time was this little quote that I had said, "Sworn to fun, loyal to none." And I even had that quote painted on the fender of my motorcycle. I had an awesome motorcycle. Then one day, my brother's girlfriend saw me. She looked at me, says, "Dominic, you're a mess. Have you ever done any type of work on yourself?" She goes, "I did this whole life seminar a long time ago." And she said, "It helped me more than anything." And she said, "More than anything, you really need to get your shit together, because you're an awesome person and you deserve it." And so she handed me this brochure, and I looked at it and I laughed. I said, "Are you kidding me? I don't need anybody to tell me what to do." And I tossed the brochure back on the table, and I went back into my life being a miserable jerk. Now, 3 years went by. I continued to be the miserable jerk that I was being. And I was broke, lonely, tired, desperate. And more than anything, I was afraid of my future. I had really no clue what I was going to do. I filed for a divorce, even though I had a son. I was doing horrible in college. I was still riding my, beautiful, shiny, sworn to fun, loyal to none motorcycle back and forth to this crappy factory job in the middle of winter, okay, dodging snowdrifts on the street. So you get the picture. I remember riding down the highway with my legs wrapped around the warm engine, and I was shivering, talking to myself how I hated my life and how I was going to get back at all those people who screwed it up for me. So I was a victim, a complete victim. Then one day I remembered about the seminar that my brother's girlfriend had or told me about. So I called my brother in desperation. I said, "Hey, do you still have the seminar brochure?" And he said, "Yes." I went and picked it up. And long story short, I paid for the seminar on an overdrawn credit card, went through the program, realized that all of the choices that I had been making had created all the shit happening in my life. Like I never took responsibility for it. I didn't realize that all the choices that I had been making was creating all the crap. And I didn't realize that I used every excuse to not take responsibility for creating it that way. So you'd think that I would have learned that in the Navy or from my parents, but I didn't. And I learned to be disciplined in the Navy, but you know how it is. If you don't use it, you lose it. And that's where I was. So after the seminar, I went back to my screwed up life. It was still screwed up, but I now had some new information. And I began to turn it around. Now, it took me a few years. And I've never had any regrets. Now, I had guidance. I started by working on my relationships and then my career, and I ended up being one of the senior seminar facilitators, and I traveled extensively, delivering workshops, seminars over the country. I decided to go independent. I got some corporate clients. I traveled to many really cool places delivering training, especially in Egypt. Now, I have mostly stopped traveling and work stop traveling for work, and I'm like doing this. So I'm going to show you now what I've been talking about and how I turned it around. So the best part is that you don't have to be a desperate asshole like I was, right? So all you need to realize is that we all have everything that it takes to get to the other side of anything, unless, of course, you have some disability that restricts you, right? Stephen Hawking's, who just passed away today, did that guy have a few restrictions physically? Oh my gosh. He had tons of them. So anyway, this slide right here is the original display that I used when I would talk to people about the achievement workshop or the achievement seminar, right? And I would show people, if you have a dream, we can help. I'm going to blow these up in just a minute so that you understand what they are. I think that you can see this. It says it's simple. You have the ability to create great results. You know you have potential. You just need a plan and a purpose. You need a plan and a purpose that's strong enough to keep you motivated. It's not all just about money. See, it's up to you. Are you using your potential? Good question. What if you knew you couldn't fail? And I'll talk about that in a little while. Could you accomplish more? Well, of course you can. We all can. So I would take people through this little display and explain to them, how you can get to the other side and to take control, to take charge of your life. So I bring this up because it's really important to see. Now, this is, if you look at it says the symptoms of dissatisfaction. People walk around their life all the time dissatisfied about something. They want their life to be better. Everybody strives to want their life to be better. But they have things like this. If you look at the thing, I hope you can see it. If you can, I'll read a few things. I'm not going to go through all this. So, for example, somebody's health. They're tired, they have headaches, they're nervous, they have frequent colds, they have digestive problems, dizziness, depression, you name it, right? They're overweight. People are constantly worrying about their money. They easily get angered because they're freaking out because they don't have enough money. They can't sleep. They're irritable. Their career, they don't really have a purpose. They're in a job that they're there just to make money so that they can pay bills. They're dissatisfied. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. They want to travel, but they don't because they don't have the time or they don't have the money. You name it. It goes on and on and on and on here. So the thing, though, is this. This is the basic model for Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And what Maslow did was he studied healthy people. He didn't study, crazy people. And what he found out was that most people live their entire life in survival. They find a job out of college or out of high school, and they work and they work and they work and they save some money and they end up at the end of their career or their working life living off some sort of a pension or savings or 401k that falls apart in the market or what have you. But what everybody wants to be doing is living their dream, living their potential. The thing that we all have that nobody can take away, because we all have potential to do what we ideally want to do with our life. But there's this gap. So how do you get from this gap, this line here to this line? How do you cross that gap to break out of survival? And what Maslow found out, what he just, after years of studying people, he learned that it was the first step was very simple, and it was this. Well, I pushed the wrong button. There you go. To accept responsibility. And what he meant by that was to accept responsibility for getting yourself or not getting yourself out of survival. So we all, by the choices that we made, just like I was saying before about me, I got myself into my situation based on the choices that I made. So you would think that if you could make different choices, it would get you out of this mode into this mode right here. So you have to accept responsibility. In other words, what you say to yourself, you go stand in front of the mirror and you say, listen, I did this to myself by the choices that I make, and that makes me very powerful because I chose to be here. I can also choose to be somewhere else. I can make different choices. So this is one of those things that I think is really important for you to understand, so that you can see that it's your life. It is your life. And there's all these different areas and then some that we all want to figure out and to make great so that we have a fun, cool, amazing life. Now, is it ever going to be worry-free? I don't think so. It's always going to be challenging, but that's what life is about, right? Life is a journey. So I really like this quote right here. Read it with me. When you have full belief in yourself and the need to make things happen, that's the powerful force behind being successful. So what she's saying is when you have full belief, but what if you don't have full belief? You know what I say? This is bullshit. You don't need to have full belief in yourself. You need to start where you're the most weakest, where you are the most weakest, which is your willingness to follow through with your word. That's it. So there's all these different areas of your life. And what I want you to do right now is just to take a look at this. And which area of your life do you really need to get a handle on more than anything? What's the most urgent thing? Is it your health, your career, your family, your money? What is it? Your love relationship? Type it into the comment section there so I can see. That's me taking a drink. Nobody's typing. Well, that's okay. That's not my preference. So anyway, we all have things that we need to improve on. Of course we do, right? Absolutely. So it's about looking at what area of my life is the most urgent right now. So we're going to talk about this. And what I want you to do, not right now, after the webinar, I want you to download Life Plan 1.0. It's on the website right here at selfachievement.me, or if you're local within the United States or, I don't know, one of the islands, you can text Life Plan 1 to 44222, and it'll send you back the download. Okay, it's really simple. Take a screenshot or write this down right now. If you need it later, you can ask me, but I'm going to move forward and I'm going to go through this life plan very quickly. This is, in fact, that was a mind map. I'll show you that in just a minute. But this is the exact plan that I followed. Okay, and here it is right here. Let me get back up to the top. I'm not going to go through this in detail. When you get this book and you download it, read it slowly and take a look at it. It's comprehensive. It's perfect. It it works every single time. And it's about breaking it down into a goal down into smaller pieces. It's the fastest way to set and achieve your goals. Now, these are mostly for goals that need to be, broken out. So, you don't need to wait for a vision board to get started. You can start right now and look at the next 1, 3, 5, 10 years of your life. So it needs to be about all the different areas of your life, because those are the things that are urgent to you, and you need to work on all of it at the same time. That's a big undertaking. This is a planning tool. It's designed to help you establish and achieve more of the life goals than you would without a plan. And most people don't have a plan, which is a plan. We all know that. No plan is a plan, which takes you nowhere. So read through the information first. Don't write anything down. Read through it. And then go back and start at the beginning and write some stuff in it. So you can print this out, or you can do it on another thing. What I also wanted to say was Goal Hacker is one of the aspects of the self-achievement system. This is all about setting and achieving goals. This is the first book in the series. There's another one coming. So what you first want to do is you want to establish your priorities. So you look at the different areas of your life that are important or that are in urgent need, right? And it could be your family, your career, your relationships, relationships with friends, your income, whatever it may be. Write them down and then circle the one or the two that you feel are the most important that you really want to work on. You prioritize them, and then you can begin to, get them in order and work on them. This is kind of for the A-brained kind of people. The second part of it, step number 2, is to establish your goals. So for each one of your priorities, you are going to think about where you want to be in that area of your life at the end of 1 year, or at the end of 3 years, or 5 years, or 10 years. If you can look out that far, it depends on you. So you're looking at your priority, whether maybe it's a love relationship, or maybe it's money right here, which is a big one for a lot of people. You're going to write a small paragraph. It won't fit in here, but you get the idea of what the completed goal looks like, the realistic completed goal. You're going to write it in there, and that's all you have to do. It's not going to be exact. You're going to approximate it. It's going to be a general idea. And then you are going to develop your action plan. You're going to break them out a little bit further. This part of the process is really vital. More than anything else, this is where the details come in, right? So it's about you creating small little doable steps, tasks that you can fit into your calendar every day and begin to make progress with it. So it's called a SIMPLE model: specific, important, measurable, simple, okay, to qualify your goals. So you need to be able to talk about your goal in a real clear way so that it's understandable, right? Can you talk about your goal and how it contributes to your life? And when you write it in here specifically, your specific goal: lose 20 pounds in 60 days, right? Simple, clear, to the point. Or earn X number of dollars in 6 months or per quarter. So you want to get specific about it. You want to make sure that it's important. Can I talk about my goal and how it contributes to my life and my priorities? You write it in here. Same thing here. Can you measure it? If you can't measure it, you can't do it. Very important. Do I know what the end results look like? Can I count it? Can I weigh it? Can I see the change? Write it in here. So that's the next step. And then you're going to go to a little bit different format, and you're going to create a visual word picture. So in another document, what you're going to do is you're going to write a detailed paragraph describing your ideal completed goal or your project. And you're going to describe it just like it would be you had just finished it, and you're looking at it now right before your eyes, and you're going to describe it in words. And what you're going to do with that is you're going to take that apart, and you are going to turn that into projects and tasks. So you'll break that paragraph out into large projects, okay? And then you will take those large projects and you will create tasks for each one of them. So this is what it looks like on a spreadsheet. So project 1, project 2, project 3, and project 4 or 5, whatever. And then you break them down into smaller tasks. You prioritize them A, B, C, D. 2A, 2B, 2C, 3A, 3B, C, like that. So that's the simple way to do it. And once you're done with that, you create a strategic plan. You go back and you look at your projects and your tasks, and you write down the approximate amount of time that it's going to take. Add up that time. I'm going to show you, this is in the mind map that you got to peek at, and you'll see how easy this is. You can use a mind map too, but going through this has always worked for me. So then to keep you strong, okay, every morning before you leave your house or before you get started with your day, if you work from home, you read through your calendar, and you do it no matter what. Now, again, this is a no matter what. So if you're weak, you're going to say, oh, I'll do it later. No, you set up a time on your calendar or set an alarm on your phone if you have to, and you do this so you look at it so it stays fresh in your mind. Very, very important. So you're going to do that, and then you are going to stand in front of the mirror and you are going to set your intention. You're going to affirm to yourself out loud that you, in fact, have the power and the confidence to accomplish everything on your daily calendar. So you'll be writing in little tasks, things that you're going to do every single day. You're not going to overload yourself. It's going to be just the right amount. Now, sometimes you may overload yourself. Sometimes you may not, but you'll figure it out. So you're going to do that. And, I did that for years. I stood in front of the mirror and looked at myself into my eyes and said, okay, Dominic, today it's me and you. We together as a team, we're awesome. And we're going to go out there and we're going to kill it. We're going to make this happen. So I kept myself energized. Now, I didn't do this I didn't come up with these ideas on my own. My mentor, my teacher was saying, this is what I want you to do. So, I was willing to follow the instruction. So remember, what you make important gets done. It's really important that you make your plan, your life important. So there's a little example right there. And here's a blank page for you to write some of your action steps on. And then here are some links to some of the other books and stuff that I've written. So you'll have all that. So download that after the webinar today. But for right now, we're going to go back to this program. Let me check the time. How many minutes are we in? We're 46 minutes. So we have a half hour. Perfect. Okay, so here is the mind map. This is so awesome. Now, I did this by hand because I couldn't do it on a computer because I couldn't. I could. Oh, crap. I went to the wrong one. Sorry. Now I have to go through. There we go. Okay, so this is what it looks like from a mind map, a visual perspective, okay? So what you do is you take a piece of paper and you make a circle right in the middle, and it says major goal. So you write your goal down, whether it's losing weight or making money or changing a habit, write it down in here. And then you break it down into projects. So here's project 1. Then here's project 2, and you write it in there. Well, in order to lose weight, I need nutrition. I need to eat better. Over here, I need to exercise. Over here, I need to find a place to work out. Over here, I need, whatever it might be. So you break it down into as many projects, okay? And then you also create a thing for resources. So you may need some people to help you, and you may need a little bit more money. You may need to do some research. I'm afraid to hit exit. Get that out of the way. You may need certain material to do that. And then what you do is you go back over here and you think, okay, let's break this project down into tasks. Here's task 1, here's task 2, here's task 3, here's task 4, whatever it may be. And I think it's going to take about this much time to complete it. I think it's going to take about this much time, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks. This might only take a day, and then you're going to total it all up. Same thing over here, right? You're going to total it all up. And then once you figure out how much time you have, you're going to write your completion date, completed by date in there. So now you know about how much time. You don't have to know exactly, just approximately. Use your intuition rather. And then write these down in here. And then for all the different projects and tasks. And then when you're done, you add up all of your total times for each project. And now you have the total time here. See, it's not magic. And then you go over here and you say, well, this one's going to take that much time. And then you put a completion date for your overall project right here. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's 3 months, maybe it's a year, whatever. But now you have a simple, basic mind map that you can work from. Is that brilliant, or is that just brilliant? Type it in there if you think it's brilliant. And if you think it sucks, just say, I think that sucks. I don't think you will, but it is the way that it is. I see another person on board up there. There's 2 people in the group that are on the webinar. Yes, type your name. Who else is here? Type it in there so I can see. Thank you. Okay, continuing on. So that is our mind map. That is such a cool thing. Now, you know, vision boards, some people like vision boards are nice, but they're not going to get you the results in the shortest amount of time as possible if you break them down in words and you use a calendar. It's a really, really important thing. So you can populate your calendar with things that you're going to be doing each day, right? So again, how it ties into using the personal growth challenge is by doing something every day, choosing a goal, and doing something every day to complete the goal, helping you to become stronger and stronger. Now, the most important part of this exercise is making yourself go through it. Okay? It's making yourself go through it. It's to sit down and actually do the homework. And when you do that, you're going to have, so your brain is going to be like with insights, and it's going to fire you up. And you're going to start having ideas again. And then you're going to be like, I don't want to sit on the couch anymore and watch TV. I don't want to go out and party. I want to do this. I want my life to be great. So it's going to help you to make some real decisions about what you need to fix and what you want to reach for in your life. So, okay, what are your questions up until now? Type them in there if you have questions. If not, I'll just keep going forward. I'll wait for just a minute. I guess no questions is good. I'm being very thorough. Okay, so it's your turn to write down a goal. There we are. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to get a clean sheet of paper or do it in your phone, whatever you're working from right now. And at the top of the sheet of paper in big letters, I want you to write, not 30-day goal. I want you to write a goal. And these are just some examples: to lose a certain amount of pounds or kilos, to read a certain number of books, or to write a certain number of chapters for your book, or to clean something out, or to save a certain amount of money, or to finish a project, whatever it may be. Write it at the top of your page, something that you feel that you can complete in 30 days. Just 30 days. And you can practice this for 30 days. Do it in the group. Do it, use it with the monthly personal growth challenge. Practice there so you can have some accountability. Now, the important thing is to be specific. See what it says right here? Be specific. Very, very important. None of this, well, I'm going to drink more water, or I'm going to, exercise more. No, I am going to drink 60 ounces of water minimum daily, or I'm going to exercise a minimum of 30 minutes each day, no matter what. That's specific. Okay? Very important, so that you can be clear. When it's not clear, it's like fluff. It's very, very sketchy, and it's very difficult to achieve it. So, all right, so you write that down, and now what I want you to do on that page is I want you to come up with your agreement. What are you going to do every day to create that goal in 30 days? If you need more time, type it in. Okay, I'll continue on. So here's the thing. You have to start asking yourself questions that give you answers that lead to where you want to go. Otherwise, all that crap just swirls around your head and nothing gets done. The questions are the key. And this is the one thing that my mentor really helped me with, was asking myself the right questions. So he had different seminars, workshops that I was able to attend, where I could begin to look at what are the right questions to ask myself so that I could move forward. That's not part of this particular program, but it is. I've got some questions right here for you to begin to look at. So who am I? How do you define yourself? How do you define yourself? And what I came up with was, I didn't come up with things like, well, in the beginning I did. I'm a father that has a family and will care for my family for the rest of my life. That's who I am. No, I came up with, I am courageous, giving, and kind. Or I am open and giving. That's who I defined myself to be. I looked at what my true motivation was. What is the underlying thing that makes me get out of bed in the morning, that makes me want to strive to become the kind of a person that I want to be? What's my ultimate purpose in life? What do I want to do? I want to create a legacy. And then I began to ask myself specific questions like, what's not really working in my life? This is a great little exercise. Things I want to have and I don't have right now. Things I want to do that I'm not doing. Things I want to stop that are continuing. Things I want to start that I can't get started. Things that I want to be and I'm not. Major decisions I need to make. And you know how it is, we avoid. When we have lots of stuff going on, we avoid making major decisions. So these are some of the questions. All right, these are some of the stuff. This is the stuff that I do in the one-on-one coaching, and also in the achievement webinar, the big webinar, the more comprehensive one. So it's really important to ask yourself these types of questions. Now, we all know, and we've talked about this earlier, quitting is the single most reason for not getting what you want from life. You quit, you give up. It's too hard. It's not worth it. I don't have the time to do this. All you have the time to do is survive, which is bullshit. If you want to get ahead, you have to do extra things. You have to force yourself. You have to push yourself to get focused and urgent if you want to get what you want. That's the only way to do it. Now, I'm not saying that you're not doing that, but this is the key. These are the simple things that you need to do. My mentor always told me the very best time to take action was when you're inspired. It's not when you're laying in bed reading a book that's supposed to inspire you. No, when you get inspired, you're doing something, like you have a great idea. Like right now, the best way to get inspired is to throw your whole being into achieving a goal for a specific time period. That's why I created the 30-day challenge, to get yourself in there and start doing it. It's really, 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 really important. So, goal versus agreement. This is from the agenda. A goal is a result. It's something that you set. It's static. It doesn't move. Now, you may change it if you meet it to increase it, right? But it doesn't move. An agreement is the thing, or the things that you do each day to create the result. That's the part that's active. It's you moving. It's you taking action each day that will take you to the result that you want. It's forced change. Okay. Sometimes it's something that you have to take away if you eliminate, like food or smoking or wasting time in front of a screen, right? But most of the time it's you taking action on something. And that's what the most important part is, doing something in addition to what you normally do in your daily routine for survival. And the biggest part of this is never, ever compromise on an agreement. If you get into that headspace where you get it, that I'm not going to, no matter what, I'm going to do this, I promise you it's going to change your life. It's better to not make an agreement in the first place than it is to make one that you're not going to keep. So that's my big advice there. So anyway, let me go back one and let me talk about a couple of things here I've got on my list. So remember, The way that you talk to yourself is the key to everything. And one of the universal truths that we know is whatever you practice each day, you become good at. So if you exercise each day, you become good at that. If you practice playing an instrument each day, you will become good at that. If you practice learning a new language or a skill, you're going to get good at that. And, if you practice not working on yourself, or if you practice not setting goals, you get good at that. And pretty soon you forget about them. Now, if you practice making and keeping an agreement, you get good at it and you become stronger. You see, your relationship with you is the most important relationship that you have. It is the most important relationship that you have. The big question is, who's in charge of you? Who's in charge of the conversation in your head? Who creates the conversation? Is it a little green man or a little green woman that's in there that's making you think a certain way? No, you're creating the conversation, and you'll create the conversation based on what you're working on. So if you focus your attention on a hobby, okay, your conversation revolves around your hobby. You'll be thinking about it, so that becomes your internal conversation. If you focus your attention on watching TV, for example, your conversation revolves around watching a TV program, and you'll talk to your friends about the soap opera and this and that and the other thing, sports, whatever it might be. So that's how you create this conversation. If you focus your attention on creating a goal, your conversation in your brain revolves around creating your goal, and that's what keeps you excited. So the big question is, what are you practicing every day? What are you practicing every single day? And what reasons do you give yourself for holding you back? Well, I can't do it. I can't practice because of what? Because of time or money? Some bullshit excuse. I don't have the energy. Oh, I worked all day. Is it because you don't know your purpose in life? Is it because you don't know what you really want to do? So it's important to figure it out because it's your life. The thing that's going to give you the biggest bang in terms of the quality of your life is the consistent creation of making progress. Listen to that again. It's beautiful. The thing that's going to give you the biggest bang in terms of the quality of your life is the consistent creation of making progress. Every day you make progress. That's like plugging yourself into a wall charger. It gives you something to look forward to. Your willingness to follow through. I also call it honoring your word to yourself. People make agreements all the time. They create these long documents and then they sign them. But what about your word? Back in the olden days when the Knights of the Round Table, they gave their word of honor. And they worked very hard to uphold their word of honor. That doesn't happen very much anymore, And that's what we always complain about with people. They said they were going to do something and they said they wouldn't do something and then they didn't do it. People don't understand that anymore. But in this self-achievement system, it's one of the cornerstones. You work very hard to honor your word to yourself. Not to me. Yeah, it would affect me if you don't keep your word about something. You say you're going to meet me somewhere and you don't show up. Well, okay. But it's more important for you and me to honor my word to myself and you to honor your word, You know all this already. I don't have to tell you this. And when you're in the groove and things are happening, you feel fucking awesome. And you know it. So I will leave you with this right here, with what's next. And so what I encourage you to do is to go back to the monthly personal growth challenge, that pinned post, and read it again. And recommit yourself to doing that no matter what. I know some of you are doing it, and I commend you. Keep doing it because it's making you stronger. I know it is. I can see it. I can tell, and I can feel it. Go through the Life Plan 1.0. Read through it first. Read it. And then go back and fill it in as much as you can. Now, you can ask me questions anytime, you get stuck on something. we can go through it. The next big step is the achievement webinar. It is a work in progress. It is carved out. I'm working on it. It's my next big step, okay? And that is coming down the road. It's a very comprehensive, big life planning thing, big time. And it gets you into finding your purpose and looking at what your bottom line motivation is, and how do you get family involved in creating goals and how to help them. And it's a really wonderful, wonderful, wonderful program. And the last thing is one-on-one coaching. So if all this sounds good and not really ready for any of that, well, shoot me a text, type it into the thing here, get a hold of me somehow. You can reach me on Facebook, and reach out to me and we can set something up. Now, here's the thing. You have to understand. How do I say this? I'm totally willing to, well, let me say it like this, you have everything that you need to create whatever you want. So these are the tools that I've used, okay? I started 5 businesses, 5 legitimate money-making business, and I did extremely well using these tools, right? And a mentor. My very first business was a door-to-door car detailing company, and I went from door to door, and I created a crap load of money. I didn't get rich, but I did it, and it worked. I created an audiovisual sales and rental business for 5 years, and I sold it, made a bunch of money. I had 2 health clubs. I managed, I started a management performance consulting business, traveled around the world. I used to do the Achievement Seminar in the United States, well, in Chicago and in Egypt, and now I'm doing the self-achievement system. So I have had some success. I've traveled around. I got out of 2 crappy relationships, and now I have a love relationship that is beyond my imagination. I've traveled around the globe. I've told you that. I've got pictures to prove it. I'm happy. I'm satisfied. Now I'm not done. And I had a guide. I had a coach. I had a teacher. 2 of them, actually, at 2 different times. And I paid them by attending their events, their seminars, their workshops, and I was also a volunteer. So I got to be around them. I got to use them, to ask them questions and to bounce ideas off of, right? And that's what you need too. But I can't be there in person to guide you all the time. That's the big problem. That's the big challenge. So, when you have questions, you have to reach out. And doing the achievement webinar and the one-on coaching, that is the best way to do it. So I've worked hard to know where the potholes are out there, and I'm willing to show you, but I won't do it for free. I could say I can't do it for free. No, I can do it for free, but I won't. And the thing that I learned was that when I paid, I got more out of it. So anyway, we can talk all about that later. The last thing is about the questions. What are your questions? Any questions at all about anything that we've talked about tonight? Type them now into the comments. If you don't have any questions, then you can go back. I see now that there's 5 people on here. There's 10 comments. Why are none of them were showing up? Now I see everybody. Sally and Michelle and Nikki is there. Look at that. There's some other people on there, but I can't see who they are because they're not typed in there. But that's okay. That's okay. If you don't have any questions because you weren't here earlier, go through it again and take a look at it. And if you have questions, you can type them in there or you can reach out to me personally. Either way is fine. And what else do I want to say here? Please stay involved with the group. Stay involved with the group. Share it with your friends. Invite them to come and take a look at this workshop and see how it goes. So if you would be so kind, if you would make some genuine comments for the benefit of other people that maybe have not seen this, that may want to take an hour of their time to watch the video and take a look at it, I would really greatly appreciate it, because that's how we pay it forward. That's how we pay it forward. So what else? I don't know what else to say. And just remember, guys, you cannot fail. It's impossible. You can only create results. If you say you were supposed to do an action every day for 30 days, right? That's a total of 30 actions in a month. That would get you to a goal. You would create a result, hopefully enough to reach your goal. If you were supposed to do 30 actions in 30 days and you did 20 of them, does that mean that you failed? I don't think so. You also got a result based on the actions that you took. It's the same for 15 actions or 10 actions or 1 action. You didn't fail. You can never fail. You can only create a result based on what you put into it. You see? So I want you to get out of that mindset that you can fail, because you can't. It's all what you put into it. So with that, I will let you all go. It's an hour and 10 minutes in. I finished 5 minutes early. I'm very happy with myself. I thank you all very, very much for being here. I appreciate it. Thank you for helping me live my dream. Reach out to me when you can. Please share it with others, and have a wonderful evening. Good night.